Hello, everyone. How are you this evening? It's Amy from Seriously Sweet and Cookie Snack Attack. Please say hello and where you're from as you're coming on. And if you want us to be able to see your name, just give StreamYard permission to show your name in the Facebook comments, okay? I see a few of you are popping on with me. Tonight, we're going to be doing a new twist on an old favorite, the Cornucopia. How is everyone? All right, so for those of you that are going to catch the replay later, if you haven't signed up for live stream alerts, we text live stream alerts that just tell you that we're in Cookie Snack Attack between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Whenever we go live, we send you a text alert, and you can sign up for that for free. Whatever your, how do they say that? It's subject to whatever your charges are with your cell phone provider, whether you have unlimited texting or not, or whether you get charged for text. So make the decision when you sign up. But the phone number is 540-870-0726. You can opt out at any time if you decide you do not like the service. Text the word live stream to 540-870-0726. I'll leave it at the bottom of the feed. I'm going to leave that going for just a little bit while we take off this. Hello, how is everyone tonight? Let's see. Oh, hey, Becky. Let me see. Hey, Becky, how are you? Hey, Miss Cindy. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Barbie. Hello, Sabra. How are you doing? From Paris, Texas. I love it. Bonjour. I love it. Hey, Rebecca. Rebecca is from Kentucky. How are you doing? Let's see. Lavelle, I don't know. I can see your name, so I'm guessing you're in there. But I think if they do an update, you have to reauthorize it again. I'm not sure you have to do it every time. I just try to show the people that have specific comments. When I can't see their name, I post that so they know. And here is another person from Kentucky, Miss April, who is our dog cookier. She does fancy dog treats. I love it. Let's see. Hey, Shayna, how are you? And Melissa's from Arizona, Arkansas. That's right. I forgot about that. You are from Arkansas. How are you doing tonight, you guys? So we're going to do a new twist on an old favorite, the Cornucopia. And this, well, okay. This is going to be our last tutorial Tuesday with a fall cookie. But I do have one more set of cookies already cut out that I really want to make. It's a cutter, 4 cutters that make a stacked pumpkin set with this really cool pot on the bottom, and it's from Dots and Bows. Cookies are already baked. I've already got all the colors and everything ready to go. So you may catch me in a bonus video before Thanksgiving doing that pumpkin set. But this is the last fall cookie for Tutorial Tuesday, okay? And let's see. Allison made it. Hello there. Kat is here from Massachusetts. So nice to see everybody tonight. So I did tell you in the earlier video today in part 1 the supplies you need if you wanted to cookie with me. And I also let everyone know that we're going to do a new twist on an old design. So instead of doing all fruit in our cornucopia, we're going to do some floral as well, just to keep it a little fun, keep it in the same color scheme as last week. Becky, you do like that set. I love it, and it fits really nicely in a 12 by 5 by 1 inch, I think is the box I have from BRP Boxes. It fits great in there, and it's a great cutter set. I love it, and I've got a really fun design in mind to do. I just haven't gotten to it yet. This cookie, Melissa, this cookie is... It's a leaf cutter. It's not actually a cornucopia cutter, and it's about 5 inches at its widest, and the height is about 3.5. So you can use any cornucopia cutter that you want to, or you can use something like this that you can see a cornucopia in. So this morning, and again, you guys, just remember that whenever we're on video, I always sketch with a black edible ink marker so that you can see it. But if you're going to sketch on cookies at home or cookies that you're going to cookie for profit or to sell, I always recommend that you sketch in yellow because it's much easier to hide. So looking at this cookie, what I liked about it was it's actually 4-leaf. Can you guys see the leaf? But I liked that it had this nice area naturally cut into it that would be the opening of the cornucopia horn. And then I liked that it had these areas that matched up. So just think about it like this, because we always try to cookie in a direction so that even though it's flat on the cookie, it gives a motion to the cookie. And then I left this extra area because we're going to have a floral that comes across here. So for just the purposes of you seeing what we're going to be doing, you can see the sketches here, okay? But we're about to cover all of that up. So you'll need either a scraper, a spatula, your thingamajiggy will work well for what we're about to do. And I remixed all of my icings from last week, added just a little bit more powdered sugar to them earlier so they would be nice and thick. But what we're going to do now, let me explain this to you. You can stop as soon as we do this first thing as far as your cornucopia is concerned if you want to. So very beginner level, or for the sake of time, if you want to just do this first part and move on, you can. But then I'm going to come back and show you a more intermediate to advanced technique with basket weave on top of the cookie, which we're going to use a tip I told you about earlier today, the basket weave tip, which is a 46. So you can see it has the lines, the grooves on one side, and then the other side is smooth. But it makes a nice basket weave, and it's pretty appropriately sized to a cookie of this size. So if you're using a much smaller cookie, you won't want to use this tip. You'll want to do a basket weave that looks more like grapevine, and probably use a number 1 or number 2 tip. Now, I'm not actually going to use this tip tonight. And Lavelle, yes, this is the same cutter that I used for the wing of the turkey. And if whoever found it for me last week on Amazon, when we did the turkey, it's either in the comments from the turkey video, or if whoever found it last week could find it again on Amazon and drop it in. So you'll want to use a 1 or a 2 point tip if your cookie's a lot smaller than this, because you would want to be able to see that nice detail like what we did on the straw hat in our fall series, where we did Fall Days, Fright Nights, and we did that cute pumpkin with the straw hat, and we used a round tip for that entire hat. Now I'm going to pipe tipless with my round tonight so that I don't have to clean another tip, okay? But if you want it to be very particular in design, you certainly can do that. So just in your mind, or freeze framing your video, just know roughly this is what we're going to be doing if you have the same cutter. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put icing on this cookie. And what we want to do, whether you're doing this for this to be your last stop, or you're doing it because you know you're going to do the advanced step, you still need to do this step because it knocks away all of the background color of the blonde cookie. So it's if your basket weave is not tight, hi Kathy, how are you? If your basket weave is not tight, if you decide to pipe the intermediate to advanced cookie, you will still be fine, because they won't be able to notice it right off. And I mean, if you get really up close, you're going to see it, but otherwise they won't notice it because this is going to knock out all that blonde color of the cookie. So if you're going to just do this, you might want to use a little bit more icing than what I did and do a rough stucco texture like we did on the body of the turkey. The reason I planned that for this cookie was in case you decided to do these two cookies together, this style-wise, design-wise, this is going to tie the two cookies together using the same color brown and then a similar technique. So you can see what I'm doing is just getting it all the way over to the edge. Okay, I'm not going down the sides of the cookie, but I just want to knock off that brightness. Now, obviously, if you made chocolate cookies for your cornucopia, you're not going to need to do this because you're naturally going to have a dark shadow. Right underneath what you're doing, you'll have a dark shadow already because you'll have a dark cookie. Yes, you could also airbrush this if you wanted to, but I know a lot of you don't have airbrushes yet, so I'm just showing you a technique that everyone can use, okay? And you know, in the cornucopia baskets, the ones that you actually use either for display, the hand woven ones or mass produced ones, they all have a rough They're rough baskets because usually they're not super expensive, high quality baskets like, say, a Longenberger or something along that nature, right? This is a more of a something you would use like for a floral display or something like that, right? The ones you can find to use in your house for displays. Do you know what I mean? Hi, Deborah. How are you? Hi, Charlotte. Glad you could join us tonight. And I am going to go ahead and I'm going to go most of the way over. I don't want to do the whole thing because I still want people to look at it and be able to tell it's a cookie. And that's where I'm going to pipe an evergreen, not an evergreen sprig, sorry. That's where I'm going to pipe some greenery. So if you wanted to stop, you could just come back right now. Now watch this. I'm going to hold it up a little so you can see it, but you can see how rough the texture is, right? That's nice just by itself if you want to stop right there. And you could have used like a 3 or 4 inch flexible scraper, like what you use to do PYOs with. You could have done that and gotten this smoother, but I really like the texture. So that's why I'm using something smaller so it is not uniform anywhere on the cookie. And then from memory, I'm looking back where I had that opening. And I just, if I was going to stop here, I would come back and I would just open that up so that I have differentiation between the filling of the basket and the outer part of the basket. Okay. And you could just stop right there and then continue on with filling the cornucopia horn and doing the greenery if you wanted to. But I thought we'd take some time tonight and start practicing a little bit on our basket weave. Hey, Myra, how are you? Let's see. I think we only had 2 people in the state of Virginia order the limited edition Christmas box that required that the box be shipped. So some of our local people bought the box as well to do the class, but I think 2 other people purchased the limited edition Christmas kit, which shipped yesterday, that were in the state of Virginia. So I was interested to see if either of them received their boxes today. And a couple people from Maryland. So those, even though it was set up for 2 days, you could have potentially received it today. So I'm just excited for you guys to let me know. When we get off the video tonight, I'm going to finish up the last couple things in your Facebook group, and I'll start sending out the emails for the link for you guys to join the private Facebook group for that class. Okay, so watch for that. I'll finish that tonight or first thing in the morning, but definitely in the next, 12 hours? Definitely, but in the next 12 hours, it will be finished. Okay, so let's go back and go ahead and start our basket weave. And just so that you can remember what we did, at these points, we did an arc that matched this arc from here to here, and an arc that matched this way so that it looks rounded like an actual 3D basket would look, okay? Now, I am going to use my basket weave tip, but I also need to use a little round tip. So what I'm going to do in this case is this has already been cut to the appropriate size. So what I'm going to do is slide this down into a bag. Just to show you what happens if you forget to split it, this is all you have to do. Slide it into this bag, pull it about halfway up, and just squeeze some icing into this bag because we don't need a lot to do the pieces that are in between the wide basket part. I just need some of this, but I don't want to have a lot of extra icing in the tip bag. So I'm basically just squeezing some of this down into this bag so that I don't have to, right? See what I'm doing? Just pulling it down into there to split my icing up. All right, and then what I'm going to do with this is just cut a wider opening, and I'm going to drop this into my basket weave bag to make a sleeve in case I want to pull this out, okay? You guys, as you're coming on and off tonight, and you see what it does, it just drops right into this so that I could take this out and exchange it if I wanted to. We're good with just the one color tonight, but when I'm in the habit of doing something, I continue to do that so that it's ready to go if I want to quick change that to make a floral or something later, okay? So let me just get this. Have y'all ever heard of the helicopter with bags? Do not try this in your house until you feel very good about your bag manufacture. But it's when you flip your bags like this really fast and the centrifugal force pulls the icing down to the bottom of the bag. See? I'm going to tie this one off real quick. Hey, Teresa, how are you tonight? Hope everyone is having a good week. I know it's only Tuesday, so lots could happen, but I myself have been doing nothing but paperwork for 2 days and boxes and shipping and technical things. Tech. I'm cutting my bag just so you can see at about a 2-point opening, like a number 2 tip. Hey, Kelly, how are you? Now, normally, if I were doing like an Easter basket or a floral for Mother's Day or something, in previous videos, you'll have seen that when those things line up like this, we always start in the middle and we work right and then we work left. That way, for sure, we always have that nice visual point right in the center, right? So if our cookie's like this wide, we want a nice point right here in the middle. But because this is a cornucopia, slightly different. So what we're going to do is turn this, okay? And we're going to work, and let me just draw a line so you can see what I'm talking about before I start. Again, we want it to look curved, so we want it to look rounded like a cornucopia horn would look. So we're going to find the middle of this line, all right? Just give it a little, you don't have to mark it on your cookie. I just want you to see it on the video. And we're going to come to whatever the ending dot is going to be and mark that, all right? And then we want to find another middle point and find the middle of that. Another point, find the middle of that. So that gives us 4 dots to connect visually. So if we were to come from here to here, do you see how we get this? We get this beautiful spacing that looks like it's perfectly centered, where the vein of the leaf would be, so to speak, if you were really using this for a leaf cutter. So what we're going to do on this, I want, in my design, I want the grooved part to be up because I want it to look really rough. And I want to, the other thing I want to keep in mind, because I've turned the cookie, is I just visually, I want my cookie to have the arc this way, right? I don't want to forget and do too tight of a line or too straight of a line. So we're going to start, I want this part of my design to be top to bottom, right? So if it were sitting on my table this way, I want the wide part to be running like this. So we're going to start with the 2-point tip and just start our line right in the middle. And it's the same color, so we're putting a brown color down right on top of the brown color. And you see how we have our arc. Now what we're going to do, keeping the idea in mind that we want that turn, that swag, what I'm going to do is just purge the tip, and I'm going to start a center line that follows that arc. Okay. Then I'm going to come back and I'm just going to take my grapevine piping and I'm going to come over it on both sides. And again, this doesn't have to be neat. If you've ever done any kind of crafting with grapevine wreaths, then you know what happens right now is that they're scraggly, they're scruffy, they're almost like bark. So now what we're going to do is come over next to that, and we're going to put down this little line, and we're going to put down this little line. Then on the 2 sides, did I do that right? Yeah, we did that right. I'm just going to do the center one first so you can see what it looks like, okay? And if you feel like you need your line to be a little taller, make your line a little taller, okay? Get that down for you there. Yep. Now we're going to pick up right here. And we're going to come up and over. Oops, I got my tip turned the wrong way though. So let's take that off because that looks smooth and everything else is rough. Okay. So we're going to come over this way. Then we got to flip. Now, if you have, I'm going to go ahead and pull this out, you guys. If you have a turntable, tonight is the night for the turntable. Whenever you do basket weave, it makes things so easy. So I'm going to pull one out. If you don't have one, you can mimic one by using a Lazy Susan or something of that equivalent to that, just that'll give you the spinner part, okay? And let me take this part off because I put this down too soon. And do I have my little no skid pad? I thought I had that right here. I'm not sure where that has gotten off to. Okay, so let's get back on our basket weave. So we're going to come right in here next to that grapevine and go up and over that line. Okay. And then we're going to come, yeah, oh, I know. Hold on, sorry. Then we want to come a little bit further here and a little bit further here. I messed up because I was trying to do two sides for you, but I need you to see this so that you'll know how to actually create this. So we're going to do this little center section. Okay. Then what we do is you have to wipe the tip between each time so that it shows up really well. Then we're going to had the wrong side down. So you have to watch your side. We're going to come up and over, and this one is an underneath. Can you see? So come out a little bit further. Then we're going to join these sections. And you see, I'm also turning it as I go. So we're going to go under and come out just a little bit further on these two, right? And on this one, we're going to come just on the other side of that and come over. Now I'm going to do this one section in case you want to use the wide tip, and then I'm going to show you how to make it super simple, just doing grapevine, okay? So up and over, up and over. This one's underneath to extend it a little bit. Okay. So you can see what it looks like as you're piping it, right? Can you see? So I'm going to lift it and show it to you, and then I'm going to show you how to make this so easy in case you don't want to spend an hour on this cookie. But do you see how it alternates like the basket weave that we did on our balloon? You see that? Okay, now, I know, really. Now, what I want to show you is how to make this easy for yourself. So you can pipe the whole cookie this way, and it will be gorgeous, okay? You just have to practice. And basically, in your mind, you have to get it set that instead of going side to side, you need to think about this cookie like coming top to bottom, okay? So watch what I'm going to do, okay? And this is just because I want you to see how to make this super easy if you want to do a bunch of these. I'm spreading this out just for the purposes of this particular video, making it a little bit thicker. And let me show you how easy you can do this if you want to keep it beginner or intermediate level. Now, the other one, you just keep working the pattern, go in sections of 3, come all the way up to the top, and then go to the end, okay? But we're going to build this up just a little bit to give it some dimension, because I don't want to keep you on here all night, because I want to go finish up your group stuff tonight and then set up the stuff for the second group. By the way, who's interested to know what candy you're getting if you get the regular Christmas cookie products box, the regular one, not the limited edition, because they had some new Christmas candy out today, so you know I thought about you. Okay, so if you want to keep this super beginner level, this is a very easy way to do that, okay? Where you want your curve to be for the opening of the basket. Hopefully there's not too little of amount of icing in here that you'll be able to see this, okay? Because it's smaller than I normally fill my bag. But just start right here. It's a thick consistency icing, and you see I'm just making loops. This is the easiest way to make it look like wrapped grapevine, like where your basket would be tied off on the end. This is the easiest way to accomplish that. And again, you don't want it to be perfect, but you don't want it to melt into each other. You see that? Let me lift it so you can see it. Easy, easy peasy right there, see? Okay, now turn it, because even though we're going to do florals and most of it will get covered up, you still want to go ahead and finish out the other edge of the basket in case when you do get done with your florals and your fruit, that if you have a gap, they see the twisty grapevine in there, okay? Now, the reason I went with a lighter brown is for those of you that like to do the airbrush feature. If you go with the lighter brown, you can basically take any color brown of airbrush and give this a lot more dimension by hitting along the edges, hitting in the curved lines, and then hitting the opening here, okay? So if you go dark brown right off the bat, then it doesn't really pull out that extra dimension by doing the airbrushing. All right, so I'm going to tie those two sections together. Can you see that? And I feel like it's a little low down here. So I'm just going to come back across the top one more time. I have plenty of icing. So I'm going to build this up just a little bit. I know when Sally made her cornucopia and she was doing the weave, she was a little worried about building it up dimensionally. And we don't want to put too much icing on here. So I just want to show you that little trick. By doing that inset one, which is down in the bottom, you can see it, and then stacking another one over it, it gives you the appearance that that's thick. And then just take a little bit of your brown, right in here. This is just an easy way to get a little bit more on there. Come up next to where you've piped with this rough stucco texture and just pull it down. Let me get in frame there. Just pull it down at an angle, right? We don't want it to be totally flat. We just want it to look like it's a little more built up in here. I'm right-handed, so this one is, I should have flipped it probably, so I was working the other direction under camera. So it takes me just a little bit longer this way. And if you don't have quite enough in there, just shoot a little bit more in there so there's not a gap between that and the cookie. Just shoot it up underneath your grapevine piping. And you can pull that back down just like that. And that way it just gives it a little more flow. All right, and then the only thing I would do if you want to keep this fast and easy is think about it like you're doing a wood plank and just give it a couple of curves. Really, this is all you need on a cookie like this, and then hit it with the airbrushing and the appearance is there. Now, if you want to go the other direction, you could pipe a line on top. I just tend to not like to do that because I worry those will break off. But that's entirely up to you. Some people like to do a flooding and then go back and outline everything for the design, and other people like to do the lines underneath, right? So this is just a quick way to do that part. Let's move this out of the way so these little dried pieces don't get in our cornucopia here, and we're going to work with this, okay? Now let's come to our colors. I'm going to go ahead and wrap the tip of this in a damp paper towel. So if I want to come back later and do the piping on here, I have that option. I'm not going to, just so you know, we're going to keep moving this way because in the first part of the video, we show you how to do the basket weave. But we are going to come back and use some of our colors from last week to start working on evergreens. So this is my lighter shade of green. I'm going to cut this tip off at about a 2. Let's get in frame here at about a 2. And we're going to do a little bit of pressure piping. So I'm going to start from the bottom of my basket. And I've got a nice thick consistency icing here. I'm going to come up right here with one sprig, and I'm going to come right here with a second. You see? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that, what do I have that I can pipe on for you? That texture, the leaf, where we build up the ball. So we build up a ball, and then we pull it down so we get a nice teardrop shape. But we try to build the ball up with the tip of the bag in the icing, and that way we get all those cool pressure piping marks, right? So that if you want to go back, hey, Maritza and Cricket, how are y'all doing? If you want to go back and dry dust any of this later, you can, and it's going to pull out that dimension. So what we're going to do is start at the top, build up the ball, and pull it point into the stem, okay? And I'm going to do that on top of this part of the stem. And what that's going to do is make it look like it's lifted. The stem is acting like underwire. I'll pull that in. I'm going to come up on top of the cornucopia, pull this in. One over here, pull that in. One here, pull that in. This is a great flour to get practice in on doing these stems because they're beautiful on wedding cookies. They're also really good when at the last minute you mess up the centering on a cookie and you need to have just a little filler. A little tri-point flower off to the side is quite beautiful if you need to fill it in and then they think you did it on purpose. Whoops. And if your circle's too small, just go back and lay a little bit over and pull that in. Now let's come up here and let's just do dots, like little pea-sized dots, pea pods, so that it looks, it's the same color, so it blends together really well, but it looks like we actually have a different flower over there. And something else, guys, if you like to pipe cactus or succulent cookies, one of the things that I found that's really attractive is to use a lighter green and do splotches of red in your bag, so that it pipes out just like the little cactus plants where it has that color that, you know, because they're not all solid green. They have those red highlights. So I'm just going to build up my pea pods here. Now, if you want to do peas in your cornucopia basket, you could practice by doing these in your cornucopia basket if you want to. Totally up to you. I'm going to do a little bit there, and I'm going to come up here and just do a couple more up in this little teeny tiny area. And as I'm piping, I'm about 1/8 of an inch above my cookie. I start piping, and then I continue piping until the icing comes up the tip of the bag, just a little bit, so that we get that pressure piping look. Do you see how it starts to get like that? Now, I'm going to show you a trick that I use all the time on cupcakes. You're going to have to do it very carefully, though, because it's much smaller area that you're working on your cookie. So do you see how I just made all 3 of those pea pods, made my circle a little bit bigger? Okay, this is something I love to do on cupcakes. So I also have some white icing. I'm going to trim a smaller hole, so less than a 1 inch if possible. I just want the tiniest opening that I'm sure icing is coming out, but I want it to be tiny. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this bag into the green pea pod, leave it right where I inject it, start squeezing, and wait until the white starts expanding the green. Now watch closely, because this is super pretty on cupcakes, cakes. It's just beautiful. It makes it, it's also very good to use for the center of creating peonies. Some of you will say peonies, we say peonies. But this is great to make the center area, like if you used a pink ball and then injected the white, the way it explodes. So watch what happens. Oops. Let's go bag into the icing and then start squeezing. And can you see how it blows up the pea pod? And you get that nice center. Okay, so that's really fun. And you see I'm just using 2 colors, but now I have 3 different florals. Can you guys see that? Now, if you really want these to explode, I'm using a flood consistency icing inside of the thick consistency green. But if you really want to manipulate that green coloring, use a thick consistency white in the center. Okay. Now let's come back over here just for fun, because the green's a little boring. Let's just put in a few little white dots. Nothing real serious, just a couple things to give it a little highlight over here. If nothing else, this makes it show up beautiful in your pictures and just gives you another coloring over there, okay? So let's put this white off to the side. Now, normally I would inject my leaves, my floral leaves last, but this cookie's going to be kind of tricky because of the way we're doing it and because we already have our built-up lip. So I'm going to put a few leaves down off to the side, just so I make sure I leave enough room for them, because if I was bagging this, I would want the icing to stay on the surface of the cookie, right? We don't want a bunch of it hanging over, because if it breaks off in the bag, it's just going to make a bunch of little crispies in the bottom of our bag, right? Okay, so just a couple little things like this, and then one here to make it look like it's coming up over the edge. One little leaf here. Should be enough. And then how about that? Like one there. So it looks full. Can you see that? And then if your icing separates or you don't like the point, you guys know to just use a scribe and pull that back to a nice point, or to curl it under. If you want to get even more dimension, you just take that thick icing and turn it underneath, and it looks like it's looping over the top, okay? All right, now find my paper towels. Now we've got two nice little things going on there. Now, how about we pipe some cute little oranges? Since this is supposed to be a mixture of fruit and floral, I have a nice bright orange color, thick consistency, and I want to do a large circle on this. So I'm going to cut this at about a 4-point opening, okay? Still a circle, but let's make some oranges, okay? Yes, you could do Christmas berries just like this, Deborah, and it would be great. And I know the greens are so pretty together, right? It's perfect shade. So let's do some big oranges right here. And I just start injecting and then working my bag to make the big circle. And the reason I want the thick icing is because I want it to come up and be rounded. Now, you see right now when I'm doing this, when I touch the scribe in and pull it out, do you see how it's puckering, like it makes points coming outward? What I need to do is pipe the oranges that I want to have, and I'm going to pipe a couple pretty big ones right here, okay? I'm going to pipe a couple. I need to let it sit for just a minute and crust over. So I'll pipe all of them. And I'm going to pipe in 3 just because you guys know I like to do 3 or 5. But now I need to let that sit. But before I let it sit, I'm going to knock that point down, just the points that are coming out the top. Then I need to let it sit for a minute, because if I disturb even this thick consistency icing right now too much, then it's going to go smooth. And I like the texture. But in order to get the indentions like you would have on an orange peel or on orange skin, or the skin of an orange, however you guys want to say it, we need to let it crust and then push into it. Because right now they're still so wet that when you push in, you pull out and you're pulling out a point, which works great for other florals, but that's not what we want for these because we're creating a little fruit basket, right? And how about we put a couple of bananas just for fun in our cornucopia? I'm pretty sure that when these cornucopias were originally made, they didn't actually have bananas where they were living, but I suppose it's possible that they traded for them. But I just thought, let's work in that yellow color we made last week that we used on our turkey. And for those of you that are going to be working in fall leaves in the red, orange, and yellow to go with your fall turkey and your fall cornucopia, I thought this might be a good way to show you that. Bananas are pretty simple to do in royal icing, but I will tell you, if you're afraid of doing it, they do make candy bananas. I'm trying to think what the mix is that they're in. They're in one of those like dollar box mixes of fruits that are like sweet tarts, but they're fruit shaped. So if you wanted to use a candy on here, the banana is actually appropriately sized for this basket. So you could do that too. But I just want to work in some color. So I'm starting up underneath the oranges, piping, 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 a lot of pressure. And I'm going to make it curve like a banana would curve. I'm going to get to the end, stop piping, and then pull out to get that little top. Now, if you don't like my banana, then you can call it a squash. They definitely would have had squash. And with a few little green streaks in here, you can turn that into a squash, which I'm going to show you how to make in a minute, okay? So let's do another banana, though. And we're layering this and just coming up and across, right? And we want to keep it curved and pull out. Then when this dries, just a little bit of brown edible ink, or you know what, why don't we just go ahead and, oh, because I used it all. We could just go ahead and put a royal icing stem right there, but I think I used all my brown. Let me see if there's enough in here. Don't you hate that when you get to the very, very bottom and you're like, is there enough for one more? Runts, that's it, Kathy. And you think, is there enough for one more? So let's just put a little stem on our banana. These are also super fun to make out of fondant if you want to take the time to do that. But there we go. Now, how about we see if this is crusted enough? Ah, look, perfect, you guys. I'm going to lift it so you can see what I'm talking about. So you see when I do this, it's actually leaving holes. So it looks like the skin of an orange. versus a minute ago when I was doing this and pulling out, it was making points. We don't want the points. The points are good for centers of florals to make it look like stamen in the center of a cookie, but they're not good when we want to make orange skin, right? So now, because we piped all 3 oranges at the same time, we've kind of got to hurry because we want the texture on all of these to look about the same when we get done. And we piped them all at the same time. So that still seems a little wet. I'm going to check on this one, see what I can do around the bottom. And you can tell, guys, when you're looking at the icing, you can see where it looks crusted and where it's lost the shine. It becomes almost like a flat surface. And where it looks really shiny, so it's still too wet. If you go into the area where it's too wet, what you're going to end up with is pulling out the points so it looks more like the center of a flower than fruit, okay? All right, that one looks good. This one's still a little wet right there to get it to leave a texture mark. It just looks a little wet, but it's a lot more icing on that one than up here. So this one looks pretty dry. So let's see what we can do with this one. Maybe we can finish this whole orange. And again, remember I said earlier, if you had leftover fondant, you could combine your red, orange, and yellow, or use your orange and yellow. You could do your little bananas out of fondant if you wanted to. Or you could combine all 3 of the colors and just make random fruits like apples or things like that, depending on which color was more prevalent in your mix. But look, we have that cute texture on our oranges. I'm going to go ahead and say those are squash because they just look more like squash than bananas, but you get the idea. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of this green. We don't want to add a lot of green, so I'm going to take a little bit of green on my scribe, and I'm going to put that in. If I'm going to truly turn these into squash, I want to just work a little bit of that green into my little fruit here, right? But I don't want to put so much on the cookie. I just need it to highlight it so that it reads visually more like a squash, right? So go with the flow. If your bananas don't look like bananas or you're not happy, just turn them into squash or gourds even. Now, those are pretty cute little fruits. Or are they veggies? I don't know. I think squash might be a fruit, but it could be a veggie. It might be a veggie. Someone tell me. If you know for sure, tell me. All right, so there we've got that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to finish up with a pretty red floral, okay? So I've got some thick red icing. We're going to do that in the center. Oh, I know why I wanted to do. I know what I wanted to show you. Hopefully this will work. Hopefully I can get this to work. Let's see, what did I do with it? Oh, here it is. I pulled these out earlier and then I cleaned up and put stuff up. So let me show you what I want to do. I want to use my basket weave tip. Hey, Bobby, how are you? I want to use my basket weave tip with this red just to create a funky floral. And then I'm going to show you how to drop it onto the cookie instead of piping it on the cookie, right? Because I wanted to make all that fruit first so I could see what would fit. Like once you've done a couple of these, you're going to know. And I'm just purging the brown from the tip off to the side here. And I'm going to leave a little bit in with the red just because I think it'll be cool looking. All right. I'm going to try to hold this so you can see this well. All right. So I'm just going to put a little bit on here and put my parchment paper. Can you guys see that okay? And now we're just going to play with this because I like the texture of the basket. So look what we could do. Right, and we've got 2 colors going for this little guy. All right, so if you like that, you can leave this just like this. And then what you would do is just add, here we go. You can add a few of these in the center. I don't have my tray here to do this, so hopefully they won't go all over the place. I'm just going to add a few little nonpareils in the center. Right, and we can let this dry, If they're too far off, like if you do what I just did and do that with your finger instead of using tweezers or something, just tuck them down into your icing. They'll kind of disappear down in there and people won't know. It's easier to tuck them into the icing than it is to try to pull them out. So we could just let this dry and we'll pull it off here like a transfer and drop it right in there and our whole cookie will be done. So, but I want to show you something else that I tried yesterday that I kind of liked. It's always a kind of situation until it hits the final details, right? You guys know how that is when you're playing. Hey, how are you? All right, so let's tuck this on here. Now, what I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to build up my center. Okay, I just need a little dot in the middle. And I'm doing my textured side. So what I really need to do is wipe this off one more time because I'm not getting as clean a lines as I want to because some of that brown is dried. I felt it that time when I pulled it off. It was a little crusty. So I'm going to go up and over with my textured side out. This is literally not meant to resemble any actual flower. I just really liked the texture when I was playing with the basket tip the other day. So you see how I'm just looping over and connecting them? All right, then I'm going to come in. I'm just going to keep building that up. Okay. And it almost looks like a woven sweater knot. Do you guys have those? Do you ever have sweaters that have that little kind of knot to them? So I liked how this looked because of the texture, and I also tried it. It takes dry dust really well. It accepts the petal dust nicely if you want to highlight this. Okay, so there is just a rough rose, but I've got texture. So it fits in with our theme and what we were doing with our turkey. But then the other thing I liked with this, I don't know why I keep losing my paper towels tonight. So funny. Let me just wipe that off because I need a nice clean tip on my yellow. If you want to come in with this, you can just make your own little floral center and it ties all your colors together. And you can, if your icing is dry enough, you can build up that center part. So what we'll do is let that dry and we're going to drop that in as our center. And what I'll do when I drop this in is I'll use a little bit of my green leaf icing. I'll make that the base. Once this is dry tomorrow, I'll drop that in and then I'll fill in around it with my 2 colors of green. But that way you've combined, you've got some oranges and squash, you've got some nice greenery, you've got 2 different ways. Go back to the beginning of the video. You've got a way that'll take you a significant amount of time to do basket weave if you want to do basket weave with that tip I showed you, or this fast way to do it, which I actually like this. This is how I like to do the cornucopias, but I know that some of you had asked about basket weave. So we've got a basket weave for you to look at too at the beginning of the video. It just takes a lot longer. And for a cornucopia, I'm not really sure people are looking for all of that, right? Like, I don't know if that's what they're expecting to see on cornucopias. Now, I do want to show you one other thing, though, that's kind of fun with these. So imagine tomorrow my flowers filled in. I've got a little more greenery. If you just want to have some fun with this, if you have extra brown, you know how we made these curly cues? Just make a little stray curly cue in your seam. Not a perfect thing like you've tied off your basket on the end, but just make a few little sprigs like sticking out that it looks like a woven basket. So I will post a picture for you tomorrow. So just a quick, easy way to combine the florals with the fruit and a cool new way to make some of these. I call them pea pods. So a fun way to do some pea pods that you can start practicing now to get ready for spring. And then I do want to show you this really quick. I have some leftover fondant. So I'm just going to take a little bit. Hopefully it's not too dry because it's from last week. I had it closed up, but it feels a little crispier than normal. Let's twist that off again. So I'm going to mix all 3 of these colors together. One of the other things I really like to do you guys remember the little leaf cutter that I used from the clay collection at Michael's, the little tiny metal leaf? I really like to do this, have my marbled modeling chocolate with these 3 colors, roll this out, and then I like to use that little cutter to cut out some leaves and tuck in leaves on my cornucopia because this won't break, right? So you can tuck it in the icing and have it come over, and you can play with it and curl the leaves. You can curl them up or under, but I like to do that too. So if you guys are don't mind the extra time of doing the fondant work, I'm going to show you what that'll look like. I think I might have that leaf cutter right behind me. You could also, you guys, easily, if you wanted to make this like your feature cookie, super easy for you to do the airbrushing in a circle, 3 colors of airbrushing circles, like to make a spiral like a tie-dye or something, red, orange, and yellow, and then use your punch that we got earlier in the season and cut out little floral punches. Or if you want to do the eucalyptus punch, you could do that. So here's my little jar of those leaves, and here's my maple leaf. By the way, the leaves are almost totally off our trees here at our house. We only have like 2 trees this year because we had the other trees taken down earlier in the season because they were old and dead and leaning. So those came down, and I planted baby trees to replace them. I like to replace them if you have to take it down, right? So I'm going to pop out just a couple of these leaves. You don't need a lot of them. If you want to do them tonight and then add them in tomorrow, you can. But what I usually do is just put it in the area where I want it, and I use my scribe, some yellow icing on there, and I tuck it in the wet icing, in and under, okay? And then I can actually pose it and make my veining right while it's on the cookie. See? So super, super easy. And this one, it has nice coloring. I'm going to put it on the other side of the orange, but I want it to be curled. So I'm going to curl it like this and tuck it in. And again, I did 3 leaves. You do as many as you want, but I'm doing 3. And this ties all of my colors together. So, and I want it to read that it's a leaf. So make sure at least one of them is fully showing, and that you take the time to use either your scribe or a Dresden tool, something to make the nice vein down the center of the leaf so that it clearly is a leaf. Okay. Do you know what I mean? So it reads, when they look at it, they're like, oh yeah, that's cool, for like you'd have on a floral accent. And then this is, if your fondant's soft enough and you're working right on the cookie, you can put a vein in the other one as well. So you see what I mean about how you can mix it, make it super fall, but really it's up to you how much you want to do. And actually my orange is super crusted now, so I think I'm going to add in just a little bit more and give it a little bit more separation between the oranges right there. And probably because this has such good texture, I'm probably going to come back tomorrow before the photograph and do some dry dusting, because when you do something with this much texture and then you go back and do the dry dusting. Now, for me, this is way too small of an area to try to work with the airbrush, because you'd have to be shielding so many things. Like if I had done these oranges as royal icing transfers, I could have used the airbrush to knock them up a level. Do you know what I mean? But because they're on the cookie at this point, they're really too small without creating a lot of extra work. But tomorrow I'll probably hit these with some dry dust. And if you want to get super crazy, don't forget they make beautiful diamond dust that you could do just your florals. You could have some diamond dust on your florals. You could work diamond dust in on your basket. Just depends. Like they have a beautiful copper diamond dust that would be really attractive on the outside part of your cornucopia. Okay, so that's it for tonight. Does anybody have any? What did I do with the thing? Seriously? Goodness, you guys. Does anybody have any questions about this little cookie tonight? Just a fun, quick little cookie. Obviously, there's lots of tutorials on YouTube for different ways to do cornucopias. I just wanted to give you something fast where you could use the existing colors from last week. So this is just a nice, fun one to do. You can make bigger fruit, smaller fruit, whatever you guys feel like. But if there's no questions, the last thing I want to tell you tonight before we sign off is Friday nights. You guys are very welcome. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you guys do any of these or have a way that you just absolutely love to do cornucopias, like you do it every year and you're just faster and faster at it, then definitely post a picture in the group and show us what you came up with so we can all keep learning from each other. I did want to tell you, I put a post up today for those of you that are going to CookieCon. They have officially announced the core instructors, the elective teachers, and the add-on instructors. So everybody's up there. It doesn't say what everybody's teaching yet, but the list of instructors is up there. So check that out. See if any of your favorites are there. I know that I am hoping to score a class with Timbo for sure. I really want to take an in-person fondant sculpting class from him. So I hope that's what he's doing. And I hope it's not too scary, because he usually does scary stuff and I don't want to have nightmares. But it's a little late or early in the year to expect him to do something Christmas, right? Because it's going to be in March. So it's not going to be all that happy. So I'm going for skill. I'm going to learn a technique. So hopefully I'll be able to get in on that. And then what else did I want to tell you guys? Friday night, this Friday night, we will be doing the box unveiling for the regular Christmas kit. Okay, that's this Friday night. We'll do that on Friday night. And then the kits, this time the kits are by themselves because it's not a limited edition kit. It's a regular Christmas kit, 6 cookie cutters in it, plus a lot of cookie products and things for us to use. It does not contain cookies or icing, nothing like that. Okay. So the box unveiling will be Friday night. The kits themselves will go up for sale on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That not only makes it on a weekend, but it also gives our East Coasters and our West Coasters all a fighting chance. There are 40 boxes. I hope we sell out right away, but there's more boxes and a considerable amount of people bought the limited edition. So we'll see. I don't know. You might have longer to get these than the other, but I hope they sell out right away so that I can ship them all on Monday, the Monday before Thanksgiving. And then on Sunday, if you want to do just the class, gather your own supplies, use cutters that you already have, the class will go up for sale for $25. Okay. All right. And again, in this box, somebody is going to get one of these with a note. It's just what I do is I pack all of the boxes before you guys ever order the boxes. So I will have no idea where this is. Okay, so one box is going to get this wrapped in it with a note that says to post a picture of yourself with your little sprinkle mix. Okay, so something like this, like hold it near you, you know, you're seeing my virtual background, but hold it near your face, take a picture and post it in your class group, because you'll want to do that because, you know, there's probably a prize, the tiny leaf before. Okay, so let me show this to you. In the clay aisle at Michael's, they sell all these mini cutters to use for people that craft jewelry and use clay, but they're stainless steel, so they're just like our cookie cutters. This is the one, all of this was from one set. I think it was like $14. They're all from one set and they're all leaves. So I bought it because I needed the maple leaf and I needed the oak leaf, but there's lots of other super useful things in here, but this was all one set. And I just keep mine in a little container like this. They have all different kinds. So enable alert, if you go to buy the one that's just leaves, usually it's out in the fall and winter, but you're going to probably want some more because they're mini, so they're perfectly sized for cookies. So just watch until you have coupons or whatever, and you can buy them with coupons, because then you can get 40% off or whatever, because they still do that coupon every once in a while. Okay. So, but I like them because they're the same material that they make our cookie cutters out of, and because they're properly sized to do little fondant details, right? So how perfect for us. So that's where those came from. And we used them earlier when we did our Fall Days Fright Night series. We used those to create, as an option to create leaves for our trees on our cookie that we made. On one of our fall cookies, we did that, or you had the option to do wafer paper with a little bit of airbrush work. Oh, I should tell you, do I want to tell you? I really want to tell you. Hey, Laura, how are you? So I'm going to tell you. I don't think it's not going to, let me just think for 1 second to make sure it's not going to. No, it's not going to affect any of you or anything that's coming. So I'm going to tell you. So my box came in, and my box that I was waiting on, that I was on a tirade about this morning because I was very unhappy with FedEx because they did a really bad job. Oh, by the way, let me circle back to that. So you remember earlier today, I said that my new postal man is so cool because he looks like Santa Claus. Do you guys remember that? And you remember I said, oh, I hope he or his wife don't watch this because then she's going to tell him I said he looks like Santa Claus. He's so funny. He came by today and he's like, hey, I had a pickup notice for you. I was like, that's okay. We did everything yesterday. And he said, so my wife thinks those boxes have cookies or something, the cookies in them. And I was like, no, I don't ship cookies. It's just the product boxes. But immediately he must have saw the look on my face. He goes, yeah, she watched your podcast. So I think he meant these Facebook Live. So if you are my new mail carrier's wife and you are watching tonight, please say hello. I would like to know who you are and get better acquainted and tell you that your husband looks like Santa Claus. And we're super happy to have him on both the business and the personal, the household residential route that he's on. He's very nice. We really miss Corey. So if Corey or his wife are watching tonight, we do really miss having you on our route. But this new guy he's really nice. So I don't feel like you abandoned us anymore. And, so anyway, I just thought it was funny that they were on there. So now that led me to that because I was saying that FedEx, I was really upset with FedEx this morning because, well, whatever. I'm not really sure why we're paying them when they aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, but I digress. I won't go there again. But FedEx, still unhappy with you because I went to go pick up the box, which you said I could pick up at any time today, and the box was not there. So thank you. I spent another $100 at Walmart today when I wasn't even supposed to be at Walmart today. I was only at Walmart because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So thank you for that. But it's okay because I bought stuff for you guys. So for the cookie snack attackers, you benefited. It's good. And I got a few groceries while I was there. So that's done before the weekend. So the reason I'm telling you that, I was coming around to this. I hope you guys stayed with me. So you know I like to put sweet treats in your boxes. So let me just show you what may end up in your boxes because everybody won't get all the items, but you'll get the same amount of items. But oh my gosh, if they have these at your store, you need to go shopping. Okay, I want you to go shopping because I tried them. They're delicious. Okay, let's talk about this. Ghirardelli sugar cookie flavor white chocolate squares. All right. Now I bought several bags. I had to stay in a budget. I bought several bags. Everybody will get one of each of these till I run out. Hopefully there'll be enough for one in each of the 40 boxes so you can try it. But if you do try it and you end up buying them, they are only available during the holiday season. So you're going to have to get them now. I don't think our Walmart has any more left. Okay, listen. Who likes peanut brittle, or at least the flavor of peanut brittle, but you don't like peanut brittle necessarily? How perfect of a marriage is this? Reese's cup in a peanut brittle flavor. Oh my word. Okay, it literally says peanut brittle on the bag and it's a Reese's. See? So delish. This... If they had this in that little mini size where I could turn it into baby cupcakes, I would be making a whole bunch of cookie platters as Christmas cookies. You know, like we did back in the spring for Memorial Day. I made the red, white, and blue, and I used the baby Reese's cups. The flavor in this, so good. Okay, not a tremendously huge gingerbread fan in the sense of I enjoy eating it. I like making gingerbread houses, gingerbread cookies, gingerbread men, gingerbread ornaments. But let me tell you, Kit Kat gingerbread, this thing is delicious. It tastes just like, yeah, I just moved from enabler alert to go shopping. So this is the gingerbread cookie. It's in the Christmas aisle at Walmart, okay? So delicious. And I think I have enough of these that everybody's going to get at least one. Okay, then they have a big bag of Hershey's Kisses this year. And there's like 3 different ones. So these will go as far as they'll go. Everybody will get a couple kisses. Like this one's called Hot Chocolate. This one's called Hugs. And what's this one? This one is So this one's hot cocoa, this one's hugs, and this one is ho ho ho. So it's the regular chocolate, I think. But aren't those cute? So you'll get that. And then however far these go, I got the holiday turtles. Do you guys know what these are? So delicious. And then I heard some good reports about this. This was in your limited edition box too. So this is again sugar cookie flavored toast crunch little snacks, and they had some more of these out today, so I grabbed a couple more boxes. So you'll have some combination of these candies in your regular Christmas box. You don't need them for making the cookies. It's not like when I sent some stuff out at Halloween that we wanted to use on the cookies. So this is just for you guys to eat because I wanted you to have a treat. I like for you to have something a little extra like that, but not something you have to dust, right? So I try to not put things in your boxes that you aren't going to use, or like shelf sitters or stuff like that. Nobody's got time for that anymore. We're all busy making cookies. Now, I hesitate to show you this because not all of your stores are going to have it. But if your store has it and you like things like this, you're going to want these. So let me show you what I found. In the Christmas aisle on the end cap at Walmart, they have those tall, skinny red boxes, and they have all the little like pre-made bits of decorations to use on gingerbread houses. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? They're in bags like this, right? Bags like this. Okay, so this they did not have last year. If you want to get this, this is it's a sprinkle, but it's like sweet tart consistency, so it's not going to break your teeth or anything like that. But what it is good for is that they're already shaped and metallic looking candy Christmas ornaments, perfectly sized for cookies. So you would not have to then make fondant ornaments or modeling chocolate ornaments or wafer paper ornaments. So I'm going to show these to you because they're really cute. Look, can you see that? Look at the detail, and they're just little candies. So of course I got several bags. I don't even know if there's any left at the Culpeper Walmart. If you live locally, I'm sorry, but you can see size wise, look how cute they are. So you wouldn't have to make fondant ornaments or wafer paper ornaments if you need those, and they're cute. So it's in a Wilton bag. They were $1 a bag. That's like so cheap for what's in here. I can't believe that. I mean, it's really cheap for what's in here. But you've got red, gold, and silver, and you've got light bulb looking, you've got a regular round, and you've got a finial. So you've got lots of shapes too. So I'm sorry if your Walmart doesn't have it. I'm sorry, because they're really cute, okay? Those are not going to be in your boxes. They're just something cool I found today because I had to go to the FedEx depot within the Walmart to get a package that wasn't there. And then I had to go back at 5 o'clock because you didn't do what you were supposed to. And it was not really there this morning. So I had to go get it after you made your way back there. Now, for some reason, it was really important, FedEx, that you text me at 5 o'clock in the morning on Monday on a day that my store was closed, and while no one was at the store, to tell me you were going to be delivering a package and that you couldn't because no one was there. Well, duh, it's a bakery. You tried to deliver at 5 in the morning, but whatever. Then you said you would have it at the Walmart last night. Luckily, I didn't go last night. So I went this morning thinking for sure they've gotten it there by now, right? No, not there. Had to go back around 5 o'clock tonight to pick it up, but I do have it. And in that box, the reason I'm telling you that story is because in that box is this super cool product from Icing Images called, I want to get the name right. They're gold flex frost sheets. So they're like sugar icing sheets. But the Flex Frost sheets, you can take them. Do I have it in here? If I have it, I'll show it to you, but it might be in the other room. Because I was still watching videos at Icing Images. They have a Facebook page and they've got a ton of videos. So I'm going to show you how to use this stuff, because if you haven't used it, I got it for 2 reasons. Well, one, because I just wanted to experiment. You know, I love experimenting with this stuff. But the other 2 reasons I got it is because I have this dress in mind that I want to make a really full wavy dress, but you're supposed to be able to break this stuff down and put it into a lace mat or a lace mold and then let it set up again so you can get texture to it. Like it's smooth right now, right, with a finish. But you can, I'll talk to you about it later, but you can push it into a mold after you dampen it and let it set up so you can use it in a lace mat. So I have this dress in mind that I want to create for a New Year's cookie. And when that popped in, I was like, I want to try that new gold Flex Frost. So luckily I ordered gold and white. But in the meantime, there's a competition piece I'm working on that I want to make it a 3D piece, but I wanted something that was handmade because you score higher if everything is handmade. So I have a mold where I want to break this stuff down, and they tell me you can break it down and make it into a paste and then use it in a mold. And the problem that's going to solve for me is it's going to make it much lighter weight than using fondant or modeling chocolate. And wafer paper, I tested it with wafer paper, but wafer paper just disintegrates. But this stuff is not supposed to do that. So I have gold and white. I'm going to try it both ways, but I think probably I'll end up making them and then airbrushing them so they're super shimmery. But it's going to solve the problem for putting too much weight on the competition piece. So just it solves something for me while I'm learning about it. You're going to learn about it. So I hope that's okay with you, but it's really fun. They also have this new product called Smart Sheets. It's I think their newest release, new product. I'm not sure how long it's been out, and it was designed for one particular purpose, but what they've told me and what I found by looking at the YouTube videos is that cake decorators, cupcake people that do cupcake toppers and cookie decorators are finding all kinds of crazy uses for it. So I have some great ideas for our Valentine and Easter cookie kits to use these products. So don't go out and order anything yet because I want to make sure it'll work the way that I want it to work for what I specifically want to use it for. But that's the box I was on the hunt for because I wanted to play with those items today, because today is my day that I do all stuff for Cookie Snack Attackers. So maybe I'll get a little bit of time tomorrow since I didn't get the product until too late. I did some other stuff today to try to free up a few hours tomorrow, so I hopefully will still get to play with it. And you guys know I love working with wafer paper. They have wafer paper on the Icing Images site. And don't buy any of this tonight because I think that Debbie from Icing Images gave me a coupon code for you guys to use in your class kit. So I haven't released that yet, but I'm pretty sure I have a coupon. So if you're getting the boxes or either one of the boxes, don't go on and go Icing Images shopping tonight until I tell you what to get specifically and what the coupon code is, because I'm pretty sure it was like a 10% discount. So basically, it's almost enough to offset your shipping. So it's worth it to wait for it. Why did I tell you that? Hold on. Why did I tell you that? Guys, I mean, it's like a sieve up here today. Okay, hold on. Anybody on here that can help me? What was I telling you before I sidetracked to don't buy it because I have a coupon for you? What was I telling you? Huh? Can't remember. Sorry. When it comes to me, I'll post it in the comments for you. But there was some reason that I didn't want you, besides just that coupon, not to do it too early. Oh, I know what I was telling you. Here we go. Here we go. Wafer paper. Come back to wafer paper. Is anybody still with me? You have to put some comments over there because it looks frozen. Okay, so here's the deal with the wafer paper. You know I love to use wafer paper. They have two thicknesses of wafer paper, and I did not know that they sold the thicker wafer paper. Like I really like all of that new stuff that's coming out from a company called Intricate Edibles, where they have a really thick wafer paper, and it's great because when you're airbrushing and stuff, it doesn't get too damp and curl up or any of that. So they have wafer paper at Icing Images that is a DD, like David. It's double density. So it's twice as thick. So it works great with the punches and everything that we've been using, but it's thicker. So why does that matter? Because you can make it curl even more and it's less brittle. And if you like to work with the vanilla flavored paper potion, you can actually get it even more flexible. Why do we care? because we're going to do Mardi Gras masks, and during Mardi Gras season, that's one of the things we're going to do on Tutorial Tuesday. So having that double density paper is going to allow us to make even cooler feathers. Guess what else they have? Are any of you card crafters and already own a grand caliber spellbinders machine? Does anybody already own one of those? Because I own 2 of those. Do you? Okay, so at some point in time, it's not going to continue forever. And I was told once they sell out, like over time, they have a lot of the merchandise, but once it sells out, they're going to let it go. But they sell the replacement plates, so they're food safe. They haven't been used with anything else, and the metal dies for like 20 different looks of things that you can cut out using the wafer paper and your grand caliber spellbinder machine. Yay! One of my favorite machines ever. I absolutely love it because you can emboss with it. You can cut out die cut patterns, but all of this stuff's totally food safe. So if you do want to do some pre-shopping, you can go on icingimages.com and check out that. And if you already own a Spellbinders Grand Caliber machine, they sell the plates and the die cuts to go in there. So I'm really going to have some fun, and hopefully you're going to like it so that I can do a couple episodes with it. But I'm going to get to use that machine again because I haven't done any card crafting in the last couple of years. So I bought a brand new set of plates, which will be food safe. And I bought the food safe die cutting plates that they sell, and 2 embossing plates. So I cannot wait, because one of the embossing plates I bought is a brick pattern and then a wood grain pattern. So using that with that double density wafer paper, can't wait to see how that works. So now I've just got to clear another 3 foot by 3 foot section to test that out for you. But honestly, that's not going to be until my Christmas break. But so excited that I'm going to be able to like work that machine in a lot because it does so many cool things. All right. Now, I think that's it. Anybody have questions? Hi, guys. Thank you for saying you were there because it like froze. I was like, is anybody still here? I see a lot of you on, but sometimes I know you turn it on and just let it go. All right. So tomorrow I'll put in our flour. I'll take a picture of this with the turkey. And I threw the turkey. I can't take a picture with the turkey, sorry, because I think I threw the turkey cookie out. If not, it's lost in the Bermuda Triangle of my cookie studio right now. It may still be here. I don't remember throwing it out, but I couldn't find it earlier because I can't find the picture that I took, and I definitely didn't post it. So now that we're ending, I'm going to try to find that turkey, get a picture posted for you, and then I'm going to try to knock out the last of that Facebook group so I can get you guys those emails tonight or first thing in the morning so you can start making your way over to that group. Okay? I think that's it. I hope you guys have a fabulous night. Hope you enjoy this new twist on the cornucopia and mixing all these different mediums. Don't forget to go to Cookie Snack Attack page and check out the list of instructors that were released. Although you don't know what they're teaching yet, you can kind of guess by who the teachers are, what they're going to be teaching most likely. Hopefully everybody is staying in the wheelhouse that they're best known for. Very exciting. Very excited about one of the core instructors too, because I was really hoping that she would be at a cookie con soon because I take a lot of classes from her. She just seems like she's probably a lot of fun. So I was excited about somebody new that's going to be a core instructor that's on that list. And then Timbo's on the list too. So that's going to be fun. All right. I don't know anything else to tell you tonight, so I'm going to sign off. You guys have a wonderful evening. Post any questions if you have them. And remember, don't buy your icing images yet until I can get you your coupon code, okay? Because it's for the classes. And I'll let you know which classes we're going to be using and what we're going to be using so that if you do an order, you can just go ahead and get everything now so that you don't have a whole bunch of separate small orders and all that shipping.